Hi guys, and welcome back to the Revit architectural training tutorial. In this chapter, we are going to learn about structural grids. How to create them, their properties, and relation with the structural elements. Let's begin. Grids are annotation elements that help organize your design. Think about these elements like edges of 3D planes. If you look at the design and plan, you'll see a series of grid lines. If you then take a vertical section through the plan, you will see the same grid lines running vertically. This is how grid lines work in Revit. They are 3D planes that can be cut through. The benefit of this is that they are always coordinated and accurate. In 2D CAD software, such as AutoCAD, you would have to manually draft out the positions of the grid lines both in plan and section. Makes changes to a grid line in plan, and you have to make the corresponding change everywhere. Well, you can forget all that with Revit. You change the grid line in whichever view suits you, and Revit will update it in all other respective views. In order to create new grid lines, first you need to select a plan, elevation or section view. Placing grid lines into your project is quite similar to placing levels, and I recommend you always create them in plan. Go to the Architecture menu tab, Datum panel, and then select the Grid tool. Click on the drawing area to place the start of a grid line, and then move your mouse and click to define the other end of the grid line. Let's create some grid lines in our example. Note that Revit will automatically name or number your grid lines. The first one will be numbered 1, the second 2, and so on. At any point if you change the number of the latest grid line, Revit will automatically try to follow a logical naming convention. If you placed 5 grid lines, and then change the last one from 5 to A, Revit will name the next one B, and so on. When you are actually placing new grid lines, the default setting is for a single, straight grid line. In case you need an arc as a grid line or any other shape, just change the toggle from single linear element to one of the other tools. Now that we have some grid lines in our project, let's take a detailed look at its parts. The grid bubble or head. It shows its unique grid reference written inside it. A small tick box determines whether the bubble is shown on this end of the grid line or not. In both ends of the grid line, there are 2 small open circles. Use these control elements to lengthen or shorten the grid line. Just hover over this circle with your cursor, and hold down your left mouse button and adjust the length of the grid line accordingly. The Add Elbow control. This is exactly the same tool that we looked at for levels. As we said above, Revit will automatically number the grid lines as you create them. If you want to change their reference, for example, the number or letter inside the bubble, just select the grid line in question, and then click on the text in the bubble. You will now be able to enter a new value. Remember, each grid line must have a unique reference. Grid lines don't just have to be single straight lines. You can create cranked grid lines, L-shaped grid lines, etc. To do so, just click on the multi-segment tool under the ribbon. This will put Revit into sketch mode. Now you can sketch out the grid line you require. Once you have finished sketching it, just hit the green tick to allow Revit to create the actual grid line. Structural grids are usually used to locate structural columns, and both work together. Structural columns automatically snap to grid intersections. Once you have placed them onto the grid, Revit will automatically keep these elements synchronized. If the position of a grid line changes, Revit will also move the position of the structural columns to keep them at the intersections.